Thank you, DJ. Next is the children's anthem, the last one. Can I give the opportunity to Fiona now, who started? Okay. We young women, so you can get, And men of Uganda, the path of education, singing and with joy together, a better Uganda. Of tomorrow's Uganda, rise now, embrace knowledge, discipline, resourcefulness, a great, great we young and men of Uganda, singing and dancing with joy together, united for a better Uganda. Thank you. We can get seated. I would now like to humbly invite the country director of TDH to come. Sorry, I would like to invite our commissioner from Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development to give us the welcome remarks into this National Girls Symposium. Kevin, help me check the mic.
The country director, TDH, she leads consortium director, country director, Plan International in Uganda. I should have started with the girl children. The girl children here present, the participants from the various civil society organizations, the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to speak to you while seated. I have a problem with my leg. It is persisting on me, but when it gets fine, I'll stand up. I want to thank each of the civil society organizations led by Plan, TDH, and She Ladies Consortium. I want to thank you and pass on the thanks from the Permanent Secretary to Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development for putting this together. The National Girl Child Symposium in the week of the International Day of the Girl Child is extremely important for us, as it gives space to the young girls to speak out, to be heard, to be listened to, and to make things better for our girl children all over Uganda, all over Africa, and in the entire world. It is important and it is consistent with the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 11. It's also consistent with the provisions of the National Constitution of Uganda when we talk about the duties of a citizen, but also the rights of the child. One of those rights that many people don't take very seriously is the right to participate, the right to speak out. And we have an obligation as adults to take what you say seriously. It's not a question of just listening and you say, okay, we have heard. No, we need to take action. Because when the children talk to us, they know where it hurts most. Because they are living their childhood now. For my friend, country director TDH, he lived his childhood a number of years ago. There were no computers. And so we couldn't have talked about cyber crime when actually there is no cyber to talk about. Now we are talking about cyber crime. We are talking about digital generation, our generation. My brother wouldn't say it was his generation. It is the present day generation because of that digitalization that's taking place in the entire world. And we are saying nobody should be left behind. Not the children, definitely. Because if the children who constitute over 57% are left behind, then with whom are we moving? Whom are we leading? So children, I want you to take advantage of this enabling environment. People have put money in this specifically to listen to you. It didn't happen to me when I was a child. The space was constrained. We are trying to enlarge the space. But also, for you to be heard even when you are talking in the space, in the air, and that nobody should threaten your peace because you are in the clouds communicating. Yesterday I was on Spectrum and they were asking me so many questions. And I said, yes, as government, we have done what we can, working with the civil society organizations and bilateral organizations. But the children also have a role to play. You don't play around with a snake. You have all seen a snake. When you see a snake, run. When you see somebody starting to bully you online, report. That's a crime. As a ministry, we have established a toll-free helpline with support of these so many people around me. A toll-free child helpline. How many of you have heard about it? Toll-free child helpline. Who has heard about it? I still have a lot of work to do. The toll-free child helpline 116, please kindly write it down. That line is for you to report anybody you suspect or is about to commit crime by touching you, for instance, or making life difficult for you when you are on your telephone. Some of you have smartphones. Or when you're on the computer. When you continuously see funny things coming from this somebody, please report to 116. Borrow a phone. They will not charge you a coin. That's why I'm calling it toll-free child helpline. When we keep quiet about the evil in our midst, it's like we are guaranteeing its continued existence. But for us, we want girls to be free to communicate. Those other elements coming in, cybercrime, people bullying you online, we are saying this must stop. And that's why the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child, as you are being told, is digital generation, our generation. Can you own it? Do you want to own the generation? How many of you want to own the digital generation? Yes. Don't be bullied around. Because if you get offline, where else are you going to go? Because even your education is now online. And there are challenges for the rural girls and the rural boys. But we are fixing that as government. And so time will come where digital will completely take over. Like some of you have been taking over big people's offices. I see a lady taking over Dr. Kadushu's office, the Minister of State for Lower Primary. If you are here, congratulations. You exhibit a lot of confidence. And that's what we want to do. To build a cadre of young girls who are confident about themselves, who know where they want to go. Zig Ziglar says, Zig Ziglar is a writer, he says that if you don't know where you want to go, all roads will lead you there. Are we together? Woba tomanyi gy'oyagala genda, buli kkubo ly'okwata likutuusa. Don't be that kind of a girl, because you will get spoiled now. Don't be teased around by small things, chicken chips, chicken liver, chicken and eggs, and you lose your focus. You lose your life. Some of the people who are bullying you online, their intentions are not noble. Their intentions is to distract you and you get offline. And once you get offline, then you are gone. Are we together? So children, I want to end by asking you to have a mission in life. Have a mission and have a goal in life. We no longer ask you questions, when you grow up, what do you want to be? We now ask you, when you grow up, which problem do you want to solve? Which problem do you want to solve? We have young innovators in the world. Have you ever innovated anything? If you haven't, can you think of becoming a solution to some of the problems that you find in the communities where you live? That way, we shall celebrate your existence because you make a difference. And for the big people who are here, let's not think that cybercrime and the teasing and bullying online is taking place only to the small girls in this country. Yesterday plan they are not only targeting the young girls. These bullies are even testing the most mighty women in the world. Just listen to this quote from the report that I got yesterday. It says, the body of research on disinformation and misinformation online is growing rapidly. But little of it applies a gender lens. It's revealing when you do, for example, false sexualization information and images are used to target and discredit female politicians to a greater extent than male politicians. A recent analysis also found that following Kamala Harris's nomination for the 2020 vice presidency in the US, false claims about her were being shared at least 3,000 times per hour on Twitter. Can you imagine, Maris? 3,000 times per hour on Twitter in a coordinated attack. An analysis by the Economic Intelligence Global South, analysis by the Economic Intelligence Unit revealed that over 90% of women interviewed in Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East experienced misinformation and defamation as the most common tactics of undermining their legitimacy. You have heard people writing, oh, that one, she slept over to get the job. She did a carpet interview. And a lot of nasty things go on. No woman should remain behind and say, it doesn't happen to me. If it can happen to the most powerful woman now in America, Harris, the Vice President of America, 3,000 tweets an hour as an attack on her personality. If it can happen to her, what about you? So let's not sit back and say, well, those things are for those developed countries. It is here. It is here. You heard of a case of Isiko versus Lydia Wabogo? Did you hear about it? You heard of Stella Nyanzi versus the First Lady? Did you hear about it? All these are a result of cybercrime. So it's real. It's not imaginary. Don't say, you know, this civil society organization, they just go on shouting. It is real. There is data and impeccable data. And so, let's stay focused. Let's look out for these people who are bullying you, abusing you. Let's report the cases. And with those very few awards, I declare the National Child Symposium officially opened for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mondo Chateka. Thank you so much for those great words. I pick, since the theme is digital generation, our generation, the key remarks I get from his opening remarks are cyber abuse, bullying, and defamation is real. Our girls, it is real. It can happen to me as an adult. It can also happen to you. So discussing it today and giving you the platform to talk about it and give us solutions is very important. Thank you so much. Mr. Mondo. I would like now to invite the country manager for TDH to give us some remarks. You're welcome, sir.
The Commissioner for Youth and Children, Mr. Mondo Chateka, and my mentor, the Country Director for Plan International, here represented, the Executive Director of GARAP Initiative, all She Leads Consortium partners here present, civil society and other officials of government present, and most importantly, the girls here present, those listening in online, but also those who may not have had the opportunity to be part of this important symposium. Mr. Commissioner, I chose to come and stand at the podium because I don't take for granted the fact that I can be able to stand up. A few years ago, when we used to work very closely together, you were fully up on your feet. And now, you are not able. And that's where I want to start from. That those of us who are here in this room, we are privileged to be here. There are those who would have wished to be here, but they are not able to be here. And those of us who are here, we should use this opportunity as best that we can, especially as girl children. Commissioner, sir, I would like to introduce to you the She Leads Consortium. The She Leads Consortium in Uganda, which is led by Terede Homes Netherlands, is a consortium, as the name suggests, that seeks to have girls leading. She leads, that's the name of the consortium. It seeks to have girls in the lead, and we are proud that in this consortium, we really have girls, and we will continue in the next 5 years to work, to support, empower, and enable girls to be in the lead in all spheres of life, including the digital environment, on whose theme we are talking about today. The She Leads Consortium, Commissioner Sir, is composed and led by Terede Homes Netherlands. And part of the consortium is Plan International, and part of the consortium is Femnet. Along with these three main partners, we have local implementing partners, represented here by GALAP. The executive director is seated on your right, GALAP initiative. Yardnet, Karamoja Women Umbrella Organization, Trailblazers Mentoring Foundation, and Mukobadi, based in Bujiri. This consortium, Commissioner Sir, which is funded by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is intended in the next 5 years to work with the girls in all spaces from various levels to empower them and enable them to actually be in charge of this generation that we are talking about, among other leadership spaces. Today, on the International Day of the Girl Child, to be at the forefront of this symposium and this conversation to have girls in the lead. Every year, the world celebrates the International Day of the Girl Child, at which we reflect on key milestones, challenges, and the status of girls, not only in Uganda, but across the world. We commemorate this day where we acknowledge the importance, power, potential of girls, and we use this day to amplify the voices of the girls, to speak for themselves, and to have opportunities to actually exercise their potential. This year's celebration demands a continued innovative approach to building connection through the digital spaces, while emphasizing inclusion of girls and young people in these digital spaces. Commissioner Sir, we are in very changed times in respect of COVID. And with these changed times, even the digital spaces and the digital divide has been brought to the forefront. Where education has been reduced to being online, the gap between those who have access to gadgets that can enable them to actually study online and those who do not have access is a very major concern. It reminds me that if at one point we wanted to provide radios for learning purposes and we couldn't provide them, how easy is it going to be to actually provide the smartphones and the computers that actually are needed to enable every girl and every boy in this country to actually continue to go to school? It's a very great challenge, Mr. Commissioner, sir. And at the same time, we recognize that access to online spaces is limited for girls than for boys. And the data is there for all to see, including the report that you referred to. Our call to action on this day, as the C-Leads Consortium, and I know my colleague from Plan will add on, how can we make these digital spaces more accessible for the girl children and the children and all children in Uganda? How can we make them more accessible? Is it possible, for example, to set up hubs at sub-county level? Or now that we are talking of the parish model, can we have online hubs where girls and young boys can actually have access to these digital spaces? Can we, for example, educate the parents to provide equal access to online spaces and gadgets to both boys and girls? These are things we may take for granted, but the girls and boys, even in families, may not actually have equal access to these online spaces. We again appeal to parents and teachers to encourage girls and young women to take up technology and ICT-related subjects, as they tend to be the biggest influencers of the choices that students make when they are making choices. So career guidance, both at parent level, but also at school level, to encourage girls to take technology and ICT-related courses. We want to see many more girls taking up this space within the ICT sector. And Commissioner, sir, thank you very much for what the government has done and what you've reported on, the Child Helpline and other spaces. But perhaps the Child Helpline can only do so much. Some of the technology needed to be able to identify cyber crime and cyber abuse and what we call grooming online for young girls that may eventually be abused online and sexually abused is perhaps technology we have not yet achieved. Could we support the Child Helpline to have this capacity in the coming years. As the online environment grows, as children get more exposed, abuse and harassment online is actually going to grow. Can we be proactive, Mr. Commissioner, sir, and have greater capacity to actually identify abusers online, perpetrators, and be able to deal with them even before they commit these crimes? On behalf of the She Leads Consortium and Terede Homes Netherlands, the coordinating entity, I pledge our commitment to work with all stakeholders and government, communities and girls to ensure that women and girls have got sustained influence and their voices are heard, not only in digital spaces, but also in all spaces where decisions that affect them actually take place. I say all this for God and my country.
We can do better in the clapping. We can say asante sana. Asante sana. Did you receive this one also, sir? Mr. Yesiga James, thank you so much. And our girls, I hope you're picking some notes from these remarks. They are very important to us, and we want to hear your voices regarding the digital hour, the G, Mr. Yesiga, sir, Commissioner, and Plan. The girls told me it is called the G generation. There is so much to do with the G generation. Commissioner says cyber abuse, defamation, and bullying is real. Mr. Yesiga James says, what have we done to prevent it before it even happens? Can we make the Uganda Child Help line more proactive, such that even we can identify the perpetrators before the abuse even takes place? You, as the girls, have the responsibility to also do that. He also said that we have, as a country, even Commissioner, emphasized the protective rights, the development rights, the survival rights. How about participation? Okay? Participation meaning the meaningful engagement of the children. And today especially for the girl child. You will tell us. Are we following these remarks? Please, you're going to tell us, following what Mr. Yesiga James has said, following what our commissioner told us. You are going to guide us. Commissioner thanked people for putting resources together to give opportunity to the girls to speak up. You are going to advise us today about the G generation. Are we together, girls? Okay, so I hope you're taking notes. I hope you listen to the questions that Mr. Yesiga James posed. I hope you listen to the key issues that Mr. Mondo also mentioned. So you are going to advise us what is the best way forward. Are we together? With this, I want to invite Mr. Ojok Toby, the Youth Engagement Country Manager for Plan International, who is also representing the Country Director of Plan International. Sir, you're welcome.
The Commissioner, Youth and Children Affairs, the Executive Director, Girl Up Initiative, the She Leads Consortium, girls and the young people who have joined this important occasion today. In a special way, I also want to recognize the civil society organizations, ladies and gentlemen in your various capacities. I want to welcome you and say good morning. It's on this day that, as Plan International, we join the rest of the world on a call for actions towards girls. On behalf of Plan International Uganda, I want to express my sincere appreciation to everyone who has turned up for this launch of the International Day of the Girl Child. This day means a lot to us as Plan. As Plan International, we are a humanitarian and also a development organization that advances the rights of the girl child, and we strive to make equality for girls a reality. As Plan International today, we join the rest of the world to celebrate the Day of the Girl Child under the theme, the digital generation, our generation. This is not just a call we are doing as Plan International Uganda, Mr. Commissioner. It's our global call, given the time we are in today. We worked especially with the vulnerable girls to make sure that their rights and their safety in the time of the global crisis a reality. Plan International, like you mentioned, thanks that you are able to bring this out on the GAP report on the girls' digital access, launch a report creating awareness about the issues that are faced by girls around the world today. In this report, it highlights something very important that I would want all of us in this house to take it. It highlights that 9 in 10 girls report spread of false online information. Let me repeat this. 9 in every 10 girls report false information online. This makes them doubt their worth in these online spaces, but also harms their mental health, especially for girls. This problem is increasing every day, especially in the pandemic situation that we are in today. So on this note, as Plan International, we join the rest of the world on a global call to take responsibility. Because it's our responsibility to ensure that instead of being barriers to technology, the internet for you young people, especially girls, we should join the call in enabling that access to internet and then access to technologies is a global call and enable us for equality for girls. The world commemorates the International Day of the Girl Child, and Plan International Uganda will advocate for girls equal access to learning, relevant skills, and digital literacy through training programs to enable them take advantage of the technology and the digital spaces, especially for the girls. And through our global youth-led campaign of the Girl Get Equal, Mr. Commissioner, on a special note, I want to bring to your attention that as we join the rest of other CSO in celebrating this International Day of the Girl Child, we are equally taking this to the Ministry of ICT to launch again another campaign of the Girls Get Equal, especially in the digital space. So we are campaigning for the world where girls can live, lead without fear or discrimination. This includes demanding that girls have the right to be safe online and to be free to speak up without harassment. Okay? We continue to demand that girls be free to express their concerns, to meaningfully participate in the different activities without any form of harassment. We also seek to amplify the voice of the many girls in Uganda who are still facing the challenges in the quest to freely speak up and to be heard. The face of discrimination, the lack of confidence, and the silence are some of the concerns that have made it challenging for this long journey that we have walked until today. Girls continue to face discrimination, lack of confidence, and are silenced when they raise their voices on issues that affect them. Without equal access to technology and internet, girls will not be able to equally participate in our ever more digital societies, and holding back girls in the era and in this area will definitely affect every aspect of their lives, including their ability to speak and to campaign, especially on issues that affect them, their lives, and most importantly, their livelihood. The government of Uganda, on a special note, thanks to the different ministries, have made some policies and commitments to integrate especially the aspects of gender, youth, persons with disabilities, and other marginalized groups in the ICT programs. And these interventions are within the 2014 National ICT Policy. We, as agencies that have seen these days and who have joined the rest on the call for these days, feel that those policies and those commitments remain on course. And Mr. Commissioner and other civil society organizations, including the girls in this house, we are all stakeholders, and we need to continue striving for the best in this area. We have also continuously noticed that there has been increasing girls and young women's digital skills involvement, and that sustaining this development is key for equality and for the sustainability of the lives and participation of the young people. Girls and women should have varied exposure to the digital technologies, including opportunities to develop the digital skills in informal contexts as well as the formal ones. The funds to deliver and support digital technology still remains a call for us to intervene and support if this global call is to be realized. We also continue to acknowledge the caregivers and other stakeholders in the different spaces to continue to play their roles and to continue supporting and creating the enabling environment that will see girls transition throughout their livelihood. As I conclude, I want to say that as Plan International Uganda, we have a commitment to the children we worked with, to the adolescents that we worked with, and the young people or the youth that we worked with, to support them to realize this important call. The important calls that we make today cuts across the livelihood of girls, adolescents, and youth, especially in their different aspects, most importantly in the education sector. In access to information on their sexual and reproductive health and rights, in access to skills and skills and employment opportunities, but also importantly on inclusive education. We have also continuously put support and continue to embrace initiatives geared towards improving technologies and social impact in the area of water, hygiene, and sanitation. We have equally created opportunities through the different innovation spaces to ensure that young people are able to lobby, connect, communicate, and explore linkages referral pathways, and opportunities in other sectors. The sectors here cuts across the different areas of livelihood for children, especially girls. That said, we continue to call for all stakeholders' participation and engagement on these regards to urge other stakeholders to join the rest of the call as we continue in this struggle. I say this for God and my country, and I remain Toby Ojok, the Youth Engagement Country Manager, who is here on behalf of the Country Director for Plan International Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Plan International. As you were speaking, in my brain, I decided to summarize Mondo at Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, developing the National Child Participation Strategy, both the one for adults and for children. If you listen carefully to the speakers, we are talking about the voice. Can we see that? And today, especially, the voice of the girl child. Are we together? And then how can we intentionally make that voice visible in such meetings, in planning, in advocacy? How can we make that voice visible so that the voices of the girl child are not discriminated against? There is equal space, there is confidence, there is resilience building for the girl child. And how can we use the voices of the girls that we have received to make value? Are we together? How can we use it to influence decisions at the household, at the community, at the sub-county, at the district, and up to the national level? Particularly, how can we make these voices visible, valued, so that governance is fit for the girl child in this digital together? Now think about that. We are going to break for tea, and after tea, we are coming into a discussion. TDH and all its members, plus Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, made resources available today for us to discuss that. How can we make digital space more available for the girl child? And not just available for the voices of the girl child to be heard, to be visible, to be valued. Are we together, girls? You are going to advise us. Did the prayer we make solve everything? Break and lunch? Or we need another prayer? We need another prayer. Who wants to lead us? One of the girls? Yes. Just, Kevin, listen, can you help me? You know, it's the International Day of the Girl Child Week. Is it on?
Lord, dear Lord, we thank you for the eats and drinks. Bless them in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. That's not Nelly, but I'll get your name. Thank you, young girl. Let's take 30 minutes for the tea, and then we come back. We shall be listening to you. It is an intentional platform for you to share with us your voices regarding the theme for today, which is the digital generation, our generation. Enjoy your break minutes.
Just one announcement, yeah? You will let me go during the break time, but I want to request for one girl who will support me on Monday. One girl as part of the MCing team. Mark me right, not the one to read the statement, but somebody whom I will give a lot of work, but light work. It will not be child labor at Kororo. Kindly ensure that I have the name, because I have to submit that name for clearance and for testing at Mulago on Saturday at 10. And this goes also to all of those who are registered to be with us on Monday during celebration of International Day of the Girl Child. Make sure that your names have been captured in the correct order that you normally use. Because sometimes we have got problems giving back results because people, you don't care about the order of your name. You know, Mondo Chateka Francis is not the same as Francis Chateka Mondo. The order matters. So put your names in the order that you normally do, but also check with Gorova. If you are part of the team to be at Kororo, check with Gorova, one of my officers at the ministry, to be sure that you are part of the delegation of 100 people. Thank you very much. And thank you, the girls, for hosting me here. Enjoy your stay at Hotel Africana.
Good morning, everyone. Someone has just dropped their money, so if you're lacking, like you have missing money, you can come to me. Thank you.
and present to us. I want to suggest Nelly. Any other suggestion? Oh, Kevin, where are you? Help me move the mic, please. It's here. Thank you. Thank you, Prudence. So we shall move the mic around. How many children are we? So we'll just count 1, 2, 3 to the end, yeah? So I'll start from... Why are you there in the Ministry of Gender table? Okay, thank you for letting me know. You see, an empowered girl. Have you seen? That is an empowered girl. We don't want to leave any girl behind. So children, let's be here. For me today, I'm pretending to be a child, but the real children, let's be here where I can see you. So we are going to say 1, if you're a child, a real child, not like Naomi who is faking. So 1, 2, 3. Are you among the stars? She's a staff, eh? No, at the end. You're one of us. Eh? Oh, thank you. I can't see you clearly. Okay, so 1, 2, 2, 3. Actually, for us to be fair, let's use signs. Because we also have our colleagues here. Is that okay? So, 1, 2, 3, thank you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here. 11. Then, Shadia, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, nearly 20. I'm going to the other table. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, invalid, 26, 27. So we are 27 children. So divide by 3. 9. So we are going to be in groups of 9. We are going to have 3 groups. And please let us integrate. Make sure your mask is on. The sanitizer is here. And it is time to listen to your voice. Now, 2. I need a group leader for group 1, group 2, and group 3. I need a group leader, okay? Group 1, what's your name?
My name is Ngarure Nadine.
Nadine. Thank you so much, Nadine. The second one is here. Group 2.
My name is Yiga Leila.
That G name. It is who?
Yiga.
Yiga.
Y-I-G-A.
Y-I-G-A. Okay. Thank you. Then group 3. Here.
My name is Nachviliga Joanita Fajo.
Wow. Fajo. Joa Nita. So, we have 3 team leaders. Now I want the president of all of us, and I want to suggest Nelly. Who else? Claire. Okay, Claire Akumu. Agreed? Okay. Ask my members here. The president is going to be Claire Akumu. Claire, stand up. And you come here so that we see you. Can you see Claire? Claire is going to be our president. To make sure that the discussions are on point in the three groups, to pick the key points as far as the discussions are concerned. So, asante sana. Okay, now that we have done that, what do we want you to do? Okay, leaders, are we together? Nadine, Yiga, Joanita, and Claire. Are our members online okay? Can we have thumbs up for those online? I can just be noticed here that, yes, they are together with us. They are okay. Okay. So, next is team leaders and everyone. Okay. Madam President Claire and the team leaders, we are going to break into 3 groups. Kevin will help me count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Guide. Okay. It will be after this. Meaningful engagement of children means that you have to inform the children of what they are going to do before you engage them. Not so. Now, you had 3 people speak. You had the country manager of Terede's home. I can't speak it in German because Amanacho is simply from the village. Are we together? So I'll just pronounce it like that, but a German will pronounce it, or a Dutch will pronounce it better. Or we can abbreviate it as TDH. You heard him speak. And then they were talking about the digital space, especially for the girl child. How can we prevent online abuse, bullying, and defamation? You girls told me about the G generation. Wow. Okay, I want to combine all those things. Are we together? Then you heard somebody from Plan say that we want to stop girls from being marginalized, discriminated against, making their self-esteem to go down. Are we together? Then somebody from ministry said, no, we have all these rights being worked on. The rights to protection of the child, and specifically the girl child, the rights to development, that's why you're in school, right? The rights to survival. Are we together? How about the right to participation? That's what you're going to do. That's why Minister of Gender said that let's allow the girls to speak for themselves. When they speak for themselves, they will document it themselves and then tell us, okay, what works and what does not work. Those are the challenges. Are we together? And then you also tell us what we can do. We have Plan International here, we have TDH here, we have UNICEF here, we have so many actors here and on line, ready to listen to you. Are we together? What you're going to do for me. So in summary, we want your voice. Are we together? We want you to tell us what is it about your voice. Okay? And then, how can we make value of the voice? You will give us the solutions. Are we together? But this is in regards to what? Kevin will tell you that the theme for today is the digital generation. For me, I finished my childhood, so it is yours. You speak it loud. Pardon? What does it mean? Someone wants to summarize it for me? What does this theme mean? I have someone here. Your name, then you speak.
My name is Nachvilige Joan Tafajo. I want to summarize the digital generation, our generation. I myself, I think that digital generation, this may include digital means electronic devices. In these electronic devices on our generation, in this may include smartphones, laptops, and other things. So I can also talk about generation. Allow me please to explain this in our local language. Generation, this means omulembe gwaffe ngaba abavubuka ogw'okukozesa ebintu ebiri ku mutindo okugeza nga amasimu. So please thank you for this opportunity.
Wow. I cannot add anything. She has said it. The voices of the girl child. She has said it. She only deserves a hand clap. And I don't want to dilute it or change any word. She has said there are the electronic devices like smartphones, laptops, and then generation is omulembe gwaffe. You see, Banana Choli can understand omulembe gwaffe. Okay, next. 3, then we go to the next phase.
My name is Yiga Leila. I think the digital generation, our generation, is an opportunity for girls to speak out their mind. It is an opportunity for those who cannot talk to use smartphones to talk to leaders or people concerned about their rights and everything. That is what I think.
Thank you so much, Yiga. It's the opportunity to speak out their minds. It's the opportunity to speak the issues affecting them. Was there another person here? Don't repeat what somebody else has said. Quick, we go to the next session.
Hi everyone.
This was Leila.
My name is Shadia from Gallup Initiative, Uganda. According to me, digital generation, our generation, as we all know, everything is now digitalized. How can we girls use that? So the thing is digital generation, and how can me, as Shadia, get used to that what? Generation, how can I